Recently, I was in a grocery store when a lady pushing a trolley made a very simple request of her young son. She said, "Jimmy, darling, would you be able to pick up one of those items off the bottom shelf and place it in the trolley for Mummy?" But little Jimmy was clearly unmotivated to do the task. And the reason I could tell he was unmotivated was because he looked up at his mum with this expression of disdain and then yelled, "No, I don't feel like it." Now, Mum was a little perplexed by this, but she looked down at Jimmy and she said, "Don't be like that, darling." She said, "If you help Mummy, you might get a special treat." But Jimmy wasn't persuaded. Once again, he looked up at his mum and repeated even more adamantly, "No, I said no, I don't feel like it." Well, at this point, Mum decided to change tactics. She said, "Well, Jimmy, let me help you feel like it," and she produced the hand. Well, little Jimmy's eyes lit up wide as saucers, and with lightning fast reflexes, he grabbed that item, placed it in the trolley, and then sprinted off down the aisle like he'd just stolen something. You see, mums intuitively know what Aristotle proposed thousands of years ago, and that is that we humans, both young and old, are motivated by pleasure and pain. You see, we do things to achieve pleasure, and we do things to avoid pain. It's all about the carrot and the stick.
Welcome to all. I am sure that most of the people that are my age that just listened to Darren got a little fear in us listening to producing the hand. So that brought back some memories for sure, but it's certainly a motivator. And just before we get on with the program, I just want to send my wishes out to all of the people. It sounds like millions of people might be affected or will be affected by this coming hurricane. So well wishes to all of them. Hope to God that things don't really get that bad. So they're in our prayers. So aside from the hand, today's show is really about intentionality, about purpose, about behaviors, beliefs, and truths. And you'll hear from a number of videos that we'll look at today what actually motivates people and how we respond to stress, our image of ourselves, personal experiences, and values. And Darren discussed what motivates people, and the pain and pleasure that motivates individuals to either do things or avoid things is really interesting. And they refer to this as the carrot and the stick. And what I really would like you to think about is chip is the carrot, and the standard American diet, the SAD diet, is the stick. And just think about that for a second. I mean, what we really should be motivated to do is to use all of the knowledge and all of the power that comes with learning how to eat plant-based meals and to live a healthy lifestyle, and motivated in the opposite direction by the standard American lifestyle and the standard American diet. So we have several short videos to watch, and what really is important to try to focus on is the fact that things internally and externally motivate us to do things. When we have pleasure and when we feel pleasure, it's really important to understand that this is one thing that motivates us, and when we have pain, that certainly motivates us in the opposite direction. Now, when it comes to health, we know that there are hundreds, if not more, things that really affect us and what we do as far as choices. We make hundreds of choices every single day that really affect our health in the present and in the future. What we do today will affect our health today. What we do today will affect our health in the future. And how intentional we are about these choices makes all the difference. Intentionality, as I mentioned at the start of the program, is really important, and how intentional we are and the choices that we make will make a big difference overall. As we set our minds to being intentional and to making better choices, we have to think about the choices that we make as far as what we eat, how we exercise, when we go to bed, when we get up in the morning, how we respond to stress. We talk about stress management, and obviously we can never get rid of stress in our lives, but how we respond to stress really makes a difference. And what drives us to get out of bed in the morning, I call it our passion for living. So I really like everyone to try to figure out what is your passion in life and what really motivates you to get out of bed in the morning. So from all this, I really think that it's obvious that what really makes a difference in our lives is the choices that we make. And actually, before we get on any further, we have some questions in the poll that we're polling on. But we also have the chat box, and please put some questions in the chat box. So at the end of this monologue, we can talk about the questions and answer them and go forward from there. So the next clip is about making healthy behaviors pleasurable. So let's look at that, and then I'll talk a little bit more on the other side.
Feelings can powerfully drive our behaviour. And this is an important consideration when it comes to experiencing long-term behaviour change. You see, when it comes to successfully adopting new behaviours, you need to come to a point where the behaviours are pleasurable. If they are unpleasant and even painful, they will almost be impossible to sustain in the long term. You take exercise, for example. Now, it is true that when we first start becoming more active, it might not be entirely pleasant. And this is why it's vitally important that you do whatever you can to make the experience as least burdensome as possible. Certainly don't make it more painful than it needs to be. If you're not a morning person, don't force yourself to get up even earlier to exercise. And if you're a social person, don't do it all alone if you can help it. You only need to engage in moderate intensity activity to reap great rewards. In time, your brain and your body will adjust, and you can even come to find the experience pleasurable. And at this point, it becomes entirely sustainable. And the same applies with transitioning to a healthy eating pattern. It's so important that you learn to tasty recipes that include your new food choices so that eating them is pleasurable. And so one key message to help you secure long-term success in your journey towards living more is to discover ways of making the new healthy behaviours pleasurable. And I challenge you in this. What can you do to make your new lifestyle choices enjoyable? It will be part of the secret of success for you.
So in the polls, you could see the answers there. The limbic system is that part of your brain that controls your emotions. And talking about emotions and the CHIP program and what we actually are doing as facilitators of this health and wellness program is really to deal with individuals' emotions, because we know that so many things affect someone's ability to really change their behavior. And specifically when you're talking about food, if you're not enjoying the food, your emotions are going to be on the negative side. If you're not enjoying the physical activity that you're doing, your emotions will be on the negative side, and that's not sustainable. And I really like to also point out, and this is what I'm sure that so many of you pass on to your patients and your clients, health is really a journey. This is not a destination, and once we get to this level, we stop. Health is really a journey that we're on. We have to continue to do this lifelong, continuing to focus on health as the number one priority going forward. So there is another question there: to be sustainable, a new behavior needs to be, and you can see the let me end this so you can see the answer. So 100% of the people put down obviously that behaviors need to be pleasurable. Another thing that I always look for in my patients, and you probably do the same, is to look and identify if an individual is ready for change, because the readiness evaluation is extremely important. If a person's not ready to make changes, then they won't make changes, certainly not in the long run. They may do it for a short period of time, but you really have to figure out where are those individuals in the readiness spectrum to really go on. So we want to be sure that everything that we're doing is creating pleasurable habits, things that really affect our behavior in a positive way so that we can really move forward continuously. The next clip is really about beliefs that drive your behavior, and I want to talk more about that after we look at this short video.
But I want to explore this notion of our feelings driving our behaviour more deeply. You see, why is it that in a certain situation, different people feel differently and hence behave differently? Let me explain what I mean by that, by the way of an example. Consider punctuality. Well, imagine a situation where you're running late. You're stuck in traffic and you have no way of contacting the person who is waiting for you. Do you notice changes in your behaviour? For example, do you find yourself sitting upright in your seat, leaning forward as if that will get you there sooner? And do you find yourself driving close to the car in front, almost nudging them along? Well, if you ask a punctual kind of person who exhibits such behaviours why, you will soon discover it's because they get all wound up when they're running late, all stressed and anxious. In other words, they're overwhelmed with unpleasant feelings, and those feelings drive their behaviours. But if you go a bit deeper and ask, well, why is it that you feel all stressed and uptight? They will begin to tell you things like this. It's rude to be late. Or, being late shows you don't care. Or, being late is a poor reflection on you as a person. And those beliefs cause them to feel, and those feelings drive their behaviour. You see, beliefs serve as the reference for how we feel, and our feelings drive our behaviours. Or, to state it succinctly, beliefs drive behaviour.
So think about that statement, beliefs drive behavior. What you truly believe when it comes to thinking about health, when it comes to something in relation to religion or politics or whatever, what you truly believe drives your behavior. But oftentimes, your beliefs are not necessarily founded in truth or in science. And when it comes to health, we really all have to rest on the foundation of science. I do a lot of public presentations and I present with a number of other physicians. We all sometimes have some different philosophical feelings or beliefs, but we've all agreed that what we present in relation to health has to be grounded in science, and we really hold everyone's feet to the fire in that regard. So truth has to, in relation to health, has to be grounded in science. The message here really is to obviously educate yourself about healthy living, about healthy eating, about the benefits of physical activity. And as you do that, obviously, you pass on that information and that knowledge and that power to other people in your life, whether it be your CHIP participants, whether it be family, friends, or patients. But when you look at anything scientifically, if you're reading a scientific article, a journal, or a book, look at who sponsored the study. If it's a research study, it's really important to look at who sponsored the study, because obviously that could bias the results of the study. If you're looking at, and I'll talk a little bit more about the myths related to milk or dairy, oftentimes those research studies are supported by and funded by and actually done by the Milk Council, if you will. So we know that the outcome of that study is going to be biased, and we really have to take that into account even before we read the remaining part of the study. So make sure that your truth and what you believe is grounded in science, because we are scientists as healthcare providers. And then when we really start to talk about the program, and so many people see this as a weight loss program. Obviously, CHIP is not a weight loss program. It's the complete health improvement program, which allows people to hopefully attain complete health. We look to move people towards optimal living and optimal wellness. So it's not really a weight loss program, but people have an image about themselves when they might be overweight or look unhealthy. So we'll look at the next clip number 3, which is about weight loss and image.
I was once talking with a man who was a weight loss success story. And I asked him, I said, so why is it that you've been able to keep the weight off while so many others fail? And he replied, he said, well, I don't know. He said, it's not like I'm doing anything different to what everyone knows about. But then he made this comment that revealed the deeper answer. He said, this is just who I am now. And I thought, bingo. You know, what he was explaining, quite unknowingly, was that he had changed a belief up here about who he was. And it served as his new reference for how he felt and how he behaved. And now that he saw himself differently as a thin and healthy person, you can bet that if he were to start gaining weight and losing his health, that would cause unpleasant feelings that would drive behaviours until he returned back to where his new belief told him he should be.
So, as I mentioned, health is really not just about losing weight or to attain a particular weight. It's not necessarily just about a particular body type. And I've used the analogy about the skinny fat person. I mean, that terminology, I don't necessarily like that terminology or the wording, but what it basically means is that you can be thin on the outside and heavy or unhealthy on the inside. So it's really important to think about what's below the skin. Health is really what's below the skin, if you will. Somebody put in the chat box, which was an interesting statement, what you eat in private, you wear in public. Thanks for that, Tom. And that is so true. I mean, it really, what happens, on the inside really is very important. So I mentioned the term skinny fat, and we really have to think about, even if an individual does not have a diagnosis right now, they may have risk factors. And this is something that I do every single day in my practice. Practicing lifestyle medicine oftentimes is just looking for risk factors. And this is something that you can do if you're a facilitator or a healthcare provider listening today. This is one of the things that's really important for you to do. Look at your clients and your patients in a very professional, critical way, in the sense that you're looking for things that they do in their lifestyle. I don't know if critical is the right word, but you're really helping them identify risk factors, things that they're doing with their health that's leading them down that road towards disease and disability, and not on the road to health and wellness and vitality. So even if you don't have a specific diagnosis, you may have significant risk factors that will create problems. So the next clip is about, how do your beliefs serve you? The things that you truly believe, how does that serve you? So we'll look at clip number 4 next.
Friends, we literally have hundreds of beliefs up here that are shaping our existence, and some of them may not be serving us well. Some people have beliefs that they're not intelligent, so they never try or seek to discover their unique giftedness. Some people have beliefs that they're unlovable, and that belief drives them to seek out dysfunctional relationships. So why do I bring all this up? Well, because in order to experience long-term success in this behaviour change journey towards living more, there are 2 beliefs that you must acquire. And the first is, Chip can work for me. And to help you forge this belief, throughout the program we've exposed you to others just like yourself that have experienced Chip success. Personal experiences are extremely formative when it comes to cementing beliefs. And the second belief required for long-term success is, I deserve success. You see, for many people, life experiences and credible sources to them, parents, teachers, peers, significant others, have taught them that they are not deserving of good things in life. And individuals who have developed such a belief, even though they might believe Chip can work for them, have no ambition to strive for a better way of living. If this rings a chord with you, I want to tell you something, and I implore you to listen very, very carefully. I want to say that you are of tremendous value. You are of incredible worth, and you are deserving of a life of health and wellness and vitality. And you need to tell yourself these truths every day, when you wake and when you go to sleep. You see, the belief that everyone is of immeasurable value, and that includes you, is at the very heart of Chip. Because embracing this belief will empower you to overcome many roadblocks that can get in the way of you living your best life. Live your best life. Live more.
So when it comes to how your beliefs are serving you, this question can oftentimes be followed up by the next question, which is, how's that working for you? Because oftentimes our beliefs and what we really truly have inside of us don't work that well for us. So you really have to think about that. Are your beliefs really serving you well? And Darren brought up two things that are necessary for long-term success. And I would change the wording, and I would say that CHIP does and will work, because we know this. I mean, for those of us that have facilitated many CHIP programs in the past, we know that it absolutely does work. And he said the second thing was that I deserve success. Again, for those of you who might be in the same era age-wise as myself, do you remember the commercial, "I'm Worth It"? I think it was a cosmetic commercial. And the girl said, I do these things because I'm worth it. And it's, again, not necessarily you're worth it because you want to look different on the outside, but you want to be healthy on the inside. And if you're not healthy on the inside, you're not taking care of yourself. You're not being respectful to yourself. You know, your body is your temple and you're supposed to take care of that. But you really can't be helpful to other people if you're not well. And I talk about this YouTube video very often, the Make Health Last video. In this video, we see obviously how a person living the standard American lifestyle is suffering as they age. And on the opposite side, the dichotomy is that if you live a healthy lifestyle and you live the CHIP lifestyle, you will age in a healthy, vital way. So it was a L'Oreal cosmetic commercial. Thank you, Tracy, for that. We have some questions and also some statements. So a comment from Lisa. It's so hard to start even with a given portion of guidelines. How I wish someone just had an exact food plan for a month. Yes, we can be very prescriptive in our recommendations. I think what the CHIP program really provides is general knowledge so that you can make decisions on the fly, if you will. You can make the right decisions when you're in the grocery store or whether you're in a restaurant or you're going to someone's house. But sometimes people need prescriptions, if you will. Obviously, as an internist for many years, I wrote a lot of prescriptions for medications. Now I write a lot of prescriptions for food and for exercise. And I oftentimes get very prescriptive in what I tell people that really ask for that type of a prescription. Tell me exactly what I should eat. That's really beneficial to me. If an individual tells you that, that's fine to be that prescriptive, where somebody may just want to learn from the CHIP program and to make their own decisions once they have a good foundation of knowledge. So I think that's fine. What can I do to get motivated for exercise? Well, as we've heard many times today, you have to find a physical activity that works for you, that you like. If it's something that you hate and every time you go out and run, you just feel lousy and you're out there running and wondering, why am I doing this? But, you know, I can tell you, I've been a runner since I've been in high school. Sometimes when I'm out there, I'm asking the same question. But as you're running, you start to feel different. You start to feel better. These endorphins are released in your brain. When you're finished, you feel the success of doing something challenging, if you will. But really, the short answer is find an exercise that really you enjoy. Find a physical activity that you enjoy. Don't even call it exercise per se, because it may be just that you change your behaviors in such a way that instead of taking the elevator or the escalator, every time you see a set of stairs, you go up those stairs, or you have stairs in your house and you do that, or you find that waking up in the morning and doing some calisthenics and some body weight exercises really makes a difference for you. So again, find food that you enjoy, find behaviors that you enjoy, find physical activities that you enjoy. Do it socially. I mean, there was a statement before about, socialization. Exercising with other people is certainly more enjoyable for some individuals. In the world of instant gratification, we set ourselves up for failure. Well, that's true. We really have to look at, again, as I mentioned before, health is a journey. It's not a destination. We really have to be sure that what we're doing, we really look at the short-term successes that we have. But if you have, 50 pounds to lose, or you have to get rid of your high blood pressure, realize that this will take a little while, and we can't ask for that easy button. Being healthy takes work. And we should be willing to do the work, because the rewards for that are absolutely tremendous. What is your recommendation to young patients who say that healthy lifestyle affects my social life because my friends are different? Well, that is a major challenge. I have young kids, and certainly my little one, Bella, who's now 12, is learning how to make the right choices. And what's really interesting is that she's influencing her friends now. So I think it's our responsibility as parents and teachers and healthcare providers to help young people understand that they should be leaders and not followers. They should be doing things that affect their health in a good way and not just going along with the crowd. And certainly peer pressure today is extremely difficult, but I think if we teach our kids very early on to be confident, to be intelligent, to be leaders and not followers, I think that will make a big difference for them in the long term. Someone writes, Marianne actually writes, if you like music and dancing, try exercising in the morning to good music. Absolutely. I think that's a great suggestion. There are plenty of days where I have music on and I'm cooking in the kitchen and I'm dancing around. I mean, you can do other things to be physically active. You're not exercising per se, but you're being physically active. You're burning calories. Right now, I do so much of my work and I'm standing up to do this program. I bought a stand-up desk for the office and the house, and anything that you can do to improve your physical activity and get you off of your butt makes a big difference. The YMCA community has helped me stay engaged in my fitness. When I'm alone and unaccountable for my food choices is when I struggle. Absolutely. As I mentioned before, social support, being involved with someone else that's helping you with the struggles is very important. That's one of the benefits actually of the CHIP community. Club CHIP and getting together either virtually or in person or on the phone with other people who have gone through the program, especially when you're falling off the wagon, makes a big difference. So if you're at that point where you realize that I'm not eating the way I'm supposed to, the way I know is healthier, I'm not motivated to do my exercise and to really deal with life effectively, call up a friend, go to a CHIP Club CHIP program, call your facilitator, get some help from individuals that can really motivate you. And they may say, hey, let's go out and walk for a while and discuss what's going on. So that social support is really, really helpful. The YouTube video that I mentioned is called Make Health Last. Megan, if you haven't seen that, it is a phenomenal video. So I recommend that over and over again. I think it really helps us understand how most people in America really spend the last 10 or 15 years of their lives in sickness, not in wellness. Unfortunately, I saw that with my own dad. He smoked for many years, and really the last 10 or 15 years of his life, he was pretty miserable. So, when you see that happen to people that you love, you want to try and encourage other people. Don't go down that same road. Try to do things early on in life so that you can maintain health. Maintain your health, because that is absolutely the number one priority every single day. How do I get in touch with Club CHIP? Esther asks. If you contact your facilitator, if you haven't gone through the program already, or you don't remember who your facilitator is, just shoot me a text or an email, and I will help you with that. Healthy food is mostly tasteless. Is it all right to spice it up? I have to respectfully disagree. We just started a new practice. Myself and Dr. Tashner started a new practice. Mine is called Concierge Lifestyle Medicine. His is called Vibrant Beat. We're in Fort Myers. We have a teaching kitchen, an 800 square foot teaching kitchen, and a gym the same size. We have a vegan chef that works for us, Lisa Brown. Yesterday was my birthday. She baked me, made a vegan cheesecake that was fabulous. It is completely healthy. She also made vegan crab cakes that you would swear were regular crab cakes, made from hearts of palm and artichoke and peppers. It was fabulous. Yes, you should absolutely spice up your food. Spices are the chemicals of life that really keep us healthy. that decrease the incidence of chronic illnesses and cancer. So you should absolutely use lots of spices, herbs and spices with all of the meals that you make. But I have to disagree. Healthy food is usually more tasty if it's done right. If you don't know how to do it, send me a text or an email and I'll get someone to help you with that. But absolutely very healthy food. So, in closing, remind other people, or actually invite other people to be part of this community. With each show that we do, our community of people online grows bigger and bigger. Invite more friends and family, especially people that might be on the fence about healthy living, to join in the show and really to become educated on things that they can do to stay healthy. What I'd also like to remind everyone that's participating is if you can identify yourself as a CHIP facilitator, a CHIP graduate, or a current CHIP participant, that would be helpful. Also, other healthcare providers, if you're a physician or a nurse practitioner or a nurse or a dietitian or whatever, please let me know. We're really trying to get a sense of the community out there. And again, do all that you can to stay healthy. There is nothing more important in life than maintaining good health. This is the number one priority. We want to make health last so you can do all the other things that you want to do in life and help as many people as you can. And in this crazy world right now, just praying for peace and security is really important, and helping others, because we are all servants, and we really maintain that feeling every day. So I want to thank everyone who's participating. Thank you so much for being here. The next show is on epigenetics, the science of what influences our genes. And genes are not necessarily your destiny. One book here called The Telomere Effect, and we'll put these up on slides next time. A great reference if you want to learn about epigenetics in advance. There's another book called Epigenetics by Joel Wallace. Two great books. I actually have a few more on the shelf behind me. Become well read in this area, because there are so many things. Dr. Dean Ornish has done a tremendous amount of work on essentially on epigenetics in relation to breast and prostate cancer. And if you want any more references, send me a text or an email. And in the meantime, between now and the next show, God bless everyone. Thank you for participating, and I will see you all next week. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.